Hi everyone, it's your girl Melly. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 4 things that you need to know before you start Invisalign. I started Invisalign about 5 weeks ago, and it has been a very eye-opening experience. It has been disappointing. It has been exciting. I don't know if it's exciting anymore. It really was just exciting like at the very beginning when I thought like, oh, I'm gonna have these perfect teeth. Now I'm just really over it. I hate it. And a big part of that is that I didn't get the information that I needed to really just know what to expect. And part of that is that my orthodontist, and not just mine, but I'm part of an Invisalign support group, and it is a common theme that orthodontists don't really share all of these ins and outs of Invisalign. And part of it was that I didn't do the research that I needed to do, because some of the things seem like, yeah, I had to do that. I had to take out the trays to eat. It doesn't seem as bad, but once you're in there, it's very different. And I'll share some of that information with you through different videos. But for me, I like to have the information. Like, even if I knew, hey, you might be more prone to yellowing, the yellowing of your teeth, at least I know. But I didn't get that up front, which is kind of disappointing for me. So that is why I'm making these videos. I want to share my experience, and I want to share what I've learned through other people as well, so that when you start your journey, you are prepared and you know, and you feel good about your decision. I think that's what a lot of us end up feeling, this buyer's remorse, because we just didn't know, and it just is really overwhelming, especially in the first couple weeks when your teeth are initially starting to shift, and it just hurts. You know, your mouth hurts, your teeth hurts. I had never felt that kind of pain in my mouth, and it just sucked. So like I said, I just want to share it with you all. So let's get started. The first thing that I would like to share with you all is about your appointments. So one of the reasons that I went with an orthodontist and Invisalign is because I wanted somebody to be there throughout each step. So unlike what are they called, like Smile Club and other ones, you are treated through somebody else, an online person. And I also went to see somebody for fast braces, and fast braces, from what I learned, is that I have like a bite issue, so they really fix like the appearance of your teeth, but they don't really get into the bite issue. So that's why I went to an orthodontist, because I'm like, they are going to be with me every step of the way, and if something goes wrong, they can catch it. You know, I have somebody that is a professional and does this on a regular basis. The thing is that with Invisalign, the orthodontist, they send your molds and everything, or your scans, to Invisalign. The orthodontist gets it, and the orthodontist doesn't actually see you every month like they would with braces. In some cases, I've seen people who are seeing them every 4 months. So every 4 months, a lot of things can happen in 4 months. People sometimes don't track the same, so that means their teeth are not shifting like they are scheduled to or expected to, and so they are going through treatment, but it's not effective. So then when they go to their appointment 4 months later, then, you know, it might be that nothing was, you know, some teeth were not moving, so nothing was happening. So then you are kind of stuck in a place, versus if you were to go to an orthodontist, they are seeing you every month, and they can treat you on the spot, because they can, you know, do whatever they do right then and there. Versus Invisalign, if you want to make changes to your treatment, you have to get scanned again and get new trays. So it really is a waiting process, and that's one thing that I didn't know. I mean, I didn't like the idea of having to go see somebody every month, but that is one of the things that I expected. You know, somebody for the orthodontist to really have more hands-on on my treatment versus it's just somewhere else, which is Invisalign is so much more expensive than these other treatment plans that do that. So it doesn't really make sense for me to be paying much more for being much more money to be treated by a third party, pretty much. So number 2 is your Invisalign plan. There are multiple plans. So I right now don't even know what plan I have, because in the paperwork that I signed, it didn't tell me, which is weird. So I am pretty sure I have like the best plan based on what I paid, but I'll have to ask at my next appointment. So Invisalign has different types of plans. So if you get the very basic one, they give you a certain amount of trays for a certain amount of time, and that's it. But there are other plans that are higher, and you can get refinements. So if you're done with your Invisalign treatment and you don't like what your teeth look like, you can get additional trays at no cost. And then they might include your retainer, they might include permanent retainer. So it's really important for you to know which plan you are paying for. Through my Invisalign support group, I've noticed that a lot of people don't know. Like myself, we don't know what our plans are. So that's really important, because if you pay $3,000 and that's, you're only getting 50 trays, which is about a year's worth of Invisalign, then that's it, right? If you have a tooth, which some teeth don't move correctly, then, that's it. If you have a small gap in your teeth, then that's it. So you really want to make sure that you know which plan you're getting, and that you're getting depending on your teeth. Some people just need to correct, they had braces when they were young, so they're doing really minor corrections. So if that is your case, you might want the basic one. But if you have a lot of teeth that are moving, I would recommend going with the highest plan, because then you're going to have those perfect teeth at the end. The third thing is refinements. Refinement trays are trays that are given to you at the very end of your treatment. When you are done, if your teeth are not perfect, if your bite is not perfect, or you have a problem tooth, they will scan your teeth again and just work on perfecting those little things. And refinement trays could be 10 trays, or they can be another 50 trays. So the reason it's important to keep in mind that you might have refinements is that you might be thinking, you have a mild case, your teeth are not that bad, which is what I thought, and I have 47 initial trays. So if they would give me another 47 trays, that means I would be in Invisalign for 2 years, which is absolutely insane. I wouldn't be able to do it for 2 years, but that's really important to keep in mind, because if you go and you think, oh, I'm done in 30 weeks, you're happy and excited about it, but then you get hit with another 30 trays, you might be really disappointed. So that is really important to keep in mind. And if you are not tracking, so tracking just means, like I said, that your teeth are not moving as expected. And so if you are not tracking, they may have to scan you in part of the treatment. And if they scan you, they might take another 6 weeks to get your next set of trays, because they have to create new ones. And that means that you're in one tray in a set of trays for those 6 weeks. So you're not moving for those 6 weeks. So that means your treatment just got extended another month and a half. So that's really important to know that treatment can be extended, unlike braces, where the orthodontist just moves it in the moment. Sometimes they can squeeze you in even though you don't have an appointment scheduled, and they can take care of that. They can address those issues with Invisalign. Every issue takes time, and so little by little, with refinements and not tracking and adjustments, your treatment can be weeks or even months longer, or even a year longer. So that's really important to keep in mind. The fourth thing that you need to keep in mind before getting Invisalign is the appliances. So in all the Invisalign commercials and even in the office, they're clear, you can't see them, they're so comfortable, they're just the best thing that has happened, right? Which is just BS. But the appliances for me, so they're just plastic and they make it seem like you can't feel them, right? Unlike braces, you can't feel them, you can't see them, which you can't see them. Two, for me they cause like a lot of saliva at first because you have something foreign in your mouth. So your body automatically produces more saliva. And this does not happen to everybody, but it did to me. The other part is that it would make because I have saliva, I am swallowing more, so that made my tongue really raw, just because of the way that I swallow. I also, you get dry mouths. A lot of people get dry mouth. That's what happens to me sometimes. So I go, it's really weird. So those are really important things to keep in mind, because a lot of people, they get this lisp, which I have still. It was worse. Hoping it will get better and better as I go. But the lisp is horrible because right off the bat, people knew something was going on because I was talking differently. And, of course, they advertise nobody is going to know ever, but they do. They hear you every single day. So it was really difficult for me to talk. And then when my mouth, my tongue were raw, I was just hurting. Like, I didn't even want to talk because I was just in pain. Then I also got, not everybody gets these, but I got what they call buttons, which are little metal, I don't know, little metal cylinder looking things that are attached to some of your teeth for rubber bands. And they're metal, and I can taste the metal in my mouth all the time. At first, it wasn't such an issue, but I can taste that metal, and it's so horribly annoying to have that taste in my mouth. So again, these are things they do not tell you, that you kind of have to work through. Before you get Invisalign, you really need to know what plan you have or what plan you are going to be paying for. If it's going to include your refinement trays and your permanent or non-permanent retainers. You also need to keep in mind that your appointments are going to be spread out. So it might not be as easy to see the orthodontist since you don't have a regularly scheduled appointment. Most of them can get you in, but when it comes to changes or changes in your treatment, they're not going to be able to do it as easily as they would with braces. You also need to keep in mind that you might have refinements and that you may not be tracking the way that you would expect. This can really change the duration of your treatment, which could really be a deal breaker for people. For me, I know I went in knowing that it would take about 1.5 years for treatment. So my initial trays are only about a year. So that means if I even get 6 months of refinements, then I'm still within my window. And then you, of course, have to wear your retainer for another 6 months, which just means we're in plastic for 2 years, which is great. The fourth thing that you need to keep in mind is that these aligners might change the way that your mouth is currently working. It might change the way you talk. It might change the amount of saliva you produce. It might change the, dryness of your mouth. And it can be really, really frustrating because this is something that you need to be wearing for 20 to 22 hours a day, depending on what your orthodontist recommends. And so, yeah, if you're not comfortable in them, that you can't take them off. You have to wear them or else you will not track well. And then that can lead to whole other issues. If you have gone through Invisalign treatment, please let me know in the comments what you think people need to know before they start treatment. I will be making a part 2 to this video because I think there is a lot to uncover here and that people really need to know so they don't feel blindsided when they start their journey. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.